We all have to take kind of a breath after that. I actually started crying a little bit when he was mentioning Richmond because that's where I live. I'm a third-generation Richmond resident trying to do the work of just transition in the shadow of the Chevron refinery. I'm actually asked to speak here today about the need for transformative climate investments to be non-extractive, and I'm going to get there. But I need to take a couple minutes to talk about the real impact, right? Starting from the false solution of carbon trading and how it rips people's cultures and land out from under them and kind of gives back this little bit of earth guardianship, in this false sense of giving, to on the other end of the pipe where the Chevron refinery will be allowed to just pollute more and more and more because they're paying into this scheme. And I'm sitting there with my family sucking it all in as they make profit off of our health. Because what's really being traded on that market is our bodies. Like the slave block, it's our bodies, our health, our future. That's what's being traded. And oftentimes in Richmond, people will say, well, Richmond can't live without that refinery. It's a huge portion of your general fund, right? That's how the city survives, and they're right. And know what I say? I say we need real leadership and real solutions to build the economy that we need. That's what we need. That's what should be being discussed in GCAS. Real investment in community-based solutions to transform economy away from carbon, away from the kinds of things that are destroying our earth and towards the things that actually address all of the other issues that have been brought up today, all of the myriad of crises that are actually driven by this single extractive mindset. If you look at any of those other crises, that same mindset is there. That's what's driving this. And so, yes, in order to make this massive global move away from extractive, polluting industries, we are going to need an enormous amount of investment, more investment that's been made in any of our individual movements, But if it's invested in a way that just mimics what we already have, we'll get more of the same of what we already have, just in a different form. I will bet my life on it. We need investment that's non-extractive. What does that mean? It means where individual communities' sovereignty is maintained and supported, right? It means that if we are going to give money, it doesn't come with strings. That the donors then all of a sudden own the things that are being created in the community or have determination over what happens to those things. It means if we're going to help fund someone scale up a project, that person needs to be from that community, and it shouldn't matter if they qualify for credit. Because most likely, if they're from a frontline community, they're not going to have the kind of credit portfolio that allows people to actually build what they need, right? We need to actually be, visionary. We need to actually be in this together. And that means actually building relationships and supporting the leadership of people on the ground. Non-extractive credit, credit that doesn't come attached to collateral, credit and loans and other forms of support that actually don't leave communities worse off than where you found them. It's so important because what we're facing and what we often look at is the symptom, We see this massive shift in the climate. We see, the CO2, and we're like, that's the problem. But actually, it's not the problem, it's just the symptom. If you only treat the symptom, you're still sick. And what we're asking you to do is actually roll back and treat the cause. And the cause is injustice. The cause is not trusting, not believing in, and sometimes not even believing that people are equally human, equally capable of actually creating and moving forward and growing the solutions that will change where we stand today. We need non-extractive financing, non-extractive solutions, and way more resources going in on the ground and up. There are examples out there. People often say that the left, that climate activists do not have real solution examples, and they are out there, but they are small because they are underfunded. And you can't tell me that we don't have solutions if folks fund it to the degree where it's funded enough to fail. And then you say, look, it failed. Well, of course it failed. You gave them $5. You know? There are solutions there. I really would love everybody to take a look at the work that's being done with the National Financial Cooperative and drawing down money into local communities to fund cooperative enterprises and housing and other kinds of things. It's a brilliant model, a seriously brilliant model. The Working World Climate Action Alliance has also, Climate Justice Alliance, sorry, has also moved into that space, creating a climate-specific just transition fund to draw money down onto the ground to adequately fund projects to shift this transition towards justice. Look into them. There's a multitude of real solutions that are underfunded, so they look like they won't work, but they will if they're funded properly and if they're funded non-extractively. Thank you.